Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Ranking the Studio Albums with your host Chris Norwood. And today we're going to be doing one of my favorite bands. They are Living by Words out of Greenville, South Carolina. They formed in 2008, I believe in April, somewhere in there, and they are a working band. They put out sometimes multiple albums a year. It's 2020 now, and since 2008, they have released 18 studio albums. And I've been working very hard tonight to try to rank these things. And it's really difficult to rank so many albums. I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to tackle Johnny Cash and Elton John. There's so much. Johnny Cash, I'm not even sure how anybody could rank his studio albums. There's just so many. But we're going to jump right into this with 2008 rock band Living by Words from Greenville, South Carolina, my hometown. So, I feel like they have, looking at the list, I do feel as if they've gotten better overall, like over the years. Now, the albums aren't going to be in order. They never are, right? Like no band just better, right? But I do feel like this band has grown a lot. Now, I didn't get a good shot. These guys are kind of mysterious. So that was the best image of their debut reign that I could get. But their first album was very experimental. They essentially jumped into the studio without knowing a thing. And so on their debut reign, you hear a lot of my poetry, like poetry that I would write, coming through on what is what some would call an abysmal production. This thing was recorded on a less than shoestring budget, and you can hear it. But you can tell they were even in their infancy. This band was just doing some really crazy out there stuff, and it did get some praise early on, saying I think one of their earlier love songs was praised for having a good chorus, and some of the other songs were praised for having a sting or the Police type vibe. So that's pretty good praise for an album that was produced for virtually nothing. Moving on to my next, this is working our way up towards the best. We're starting at the bottom. This is 1+1, and this is one of their. They've done several double albums, and in my opinion, 1+1, it was just too much material. It just sort of collapsed under its own weight of 40 plus songs. We just absolutely didn't need that much. Coming in, I got to make sure I'm going in the right order. Coming in next is Monster. This is an early album by them, and you can hear that they're growing and that they are definitely continuing with the experimentation, but they're getting sort of that pop rock sound that they've been going for. Now, the next album is a little bit confusing, and I actually did have to reach out to the band to clarify, but Living by Words' third album was called Living by Words B-Sides. Now, it's a B-Sides collection, but it was their studio album. So it counts. It counts in the ranking. I had to ask them. Coming up next is A Rock and Roll Smile. They were trying a little bit harder to be a positive influence in the rock and roll world, and I feel like they kind of did it with that album. Although it was not a perfect rock and roll record by any means, I feel like this one was maybe a little bit better. On this one, Living by Words are trying and sometimes succeeding in being a harder rock band. Okay, coming in next is going to be Out With a Bang. Again, kind of a blurry image there. This was kind of a joke title in that they were considering possibly breaking up around this time, but it was all a hoax. Living by Words will never break up. Then you got still another blurry image. That's the album cover of The Five. It was their 5th album, and I feel like they were sort of getting their stride, but still being maybe a little bit too weird for their own good on this album. So it's coming in at number 8 on my list. Coming up next, and we've got some better album artwork for you guys now, their Untitled record. This is where things start to get really good, in my opinion. They start working with some different producers, a lot of the band members started to step up in a big way here. Untitled's pretty good, pretty great Untitled record. Now, Untitled is the title of it. It's actually titled Untitled. Titled Untitled. You guys got it? You following me? Their B-Sides was a studio album. Their Untitled was titled Untitled. Coming up next is Crazy Every Day. This one got a little bit of praise from a few people from a few different communities, saying that when the singer puts his mind to it, he does actually have a what some would consider a mediocre voice, and they'll take it. Living by Words is very proud of their work and what they've done. They're very proud of their side projects. Young and Ambitious was a true jazz masterpiece. It's even though they're not from New Orleans, that album really sort of gave them a card to essentially be from New Orleans. That's how good it was. And some of their solo albums that are coming out now pretty soon are going to absolutely rock the free world. So look out for that. Solo albums, Young and Ambitious. You probably will never be able to hear the full version of Young and Ambitious. It's just too ambitious for you to hear. Moving on, though, we got to get back to Living by Words, ranking the studio albums. We just did that Crazy Every Day. Lead singer was in love with that when he wanted to write some titles. Oh man, I wish this album cover was not blurry. Strong and Broken, nice punk rock album cover. Absolutely love it. Strong and Broken was sort of more in the punk rock vein of things. Coming up next on my list is sort of a newer one. I think this came out this came out last time. This is the pre-op, post-op double album, and this one was very interesting in that the lead singer actually had surgery shortly after starting work on this album. And when he came back home from the hospital, he said, hey, why not take something bad that's happening to me and use it for my art, use it to my advantage. So even though he was in a great deal of physical pain, he got the idea that it would give him a unique vocal signature. And it actually worked to his benefit and the band's benefit on pre-op, post-op, the surgery sessions in 2019. It's again, the double albums with this band don't really work. Like, it's too much material, and I feel like they've been kind of course correcting on some later albums, and we'll get into that as we get towards the end of the list, where that has been an issue with Living by Words, where it seems even on their one disc albums, they're trying to fill the entire disc, and you don't need 80 minutes of rock or genre bending to have a good album. So coming up next is going to be their second solo album, 2000, I think it was 2018's Living by Words. Pretty cool album art there. You got the band members there. Yeah, you can't really make them out too good. I wish you could get like a facial read on that, but that was a really good one. Really clean, beautiful record. Really enjoyed it. Moving on next, we got Living by Words, The Twist. Really enjoyed this record. Kind of had a yellow sound to it. Then we're moving on to Living by Words 2008. This is their sophomore album, and it's worlds and universes beyond their debut. They went from a debut that was maybe a 3 to a sophomore that was a 10. It's a darn near perfect album. Living by Words 2008. Absolutely love this album. A lot of really strange video game and pop culture references that only about maybe 4 people in the world would get, but those 4 people are laughing hard when they hear it. So Living by Words 2008, definitely a great album. Coming in next is their latest, really beautiful artwork here. This is Razzmatazz Shine. They really spent a lot of time on the album title because they did not want a third self-titled album, although they considered it. Razzmatazz Shine is just really a band just in control of their bodies and in control of their music, and really takes it in an emotional direction that maybe some Living by Words fans were not expecting. And I really enjoyed the vocals on this one particularly, and I really enjoyed the themes of being depressed but being okay at the same time. Coming in at my second favorite Living by Words record. Are you guys ready? Free Like Me. Gotta love that album cover. Definitely represents freedom. This album's got a really strong Bruce Springsteen vibe. Just some really clean, crisp pop rock. Just really great in my opinion. The only thing better, and I'm glad we actually got a decent picture of this one, absolutely love this album artwork. And I talked to the lead singer, and this album was, he was going through some pretty traumatic experiences with a relationship that he was trying to make work, and it just wasn't working. But this is called The Black Universe, and really love that album art. Check it out. There's a guy, and he's blowing out the smoke of the entire Black Universe. So yeah, just a really great rock record in my opinion. Still some of those really weird, bizarre, abstract songs you expect out of Living by Words. And yeah, just overall, there's been some Living by Words albums. So just really quick to recap, my top 3, actually like the ones that are like near perfect, would be their self-titled from 2018, The Twist, their self-titled from 2008, and Razzmatazz Shine, Free Like Me, and My Black Universe. If you're going to check out Living by Words, check out those 6 albums first. And I'm actually going to make sure we have a link to Living by Words SoundCloud on my profile, and I'm going to make sure we're going to start beefing that up pretty soon. I actually work with these guys, so but this is not like some kind of self-promotion. I'm ranking every musician out there, and this just happens to be a band that I'm pretty close with. But I do enjoy their music, and they are ranked just like anybody else. I rank them just like any other band that I listen to. And, you know, they're not my number one favorite band. Even though, you know, I work with these guys, I've produced their music, I've made some of their album covers. And, you know, these guys are just, they're just a local rock band doing it up. In 12 years, they've put out 18 albums. They're almost done with album 19, and I'm very excited to hear what they've got. I know they've got about, you know, again, they love to record tons and tons of material, and I think they've got about probably, they usually end up with about 80 or 90 songs that they kind of whittle down, and they're going to try, at my suggestion, they're going to try and do maybe shorter albums from going forward, because you know, they've had they've had three double albums in 12 years, and the rest of their albums have been significantly long. Most of their records have been 80 minutes, and they're trying to really just do, you know, boil it down to maybe 10 or 14 really great tracks. So I'm really excited about what this band is doing. So yeah, check out Living by Words. I've got a link up there in my profile somewhere. I might put one in the description below. And you know, there's also that Chris Norwood solo project coming soon. So yeah, check these guys out. They're a really strange rock band from Greenville, South Carolina, and I've been working with them for years. I've known them for almost 35 years. They're really good guys and gals, and I wish them the best in their future endeavors. I will keep you guys up to date, or they will keep you up to date over at Living by Words on Facebook. They've got a Facebook group over there, and they post a lot of music videos. They post all their new SoundCloud singles on there. And yeah, they're just a really bizarre, strange rock group. They're probably, you know, they're in my top 30 or 40 of my favorite bands of all time. So yeah, this has been the Ranking the Studio Albums. And here's the list. Some of their biggest influences were Weezer, Red Hot Chili Peppers, The Transplants, Green Day, Foxborough Hot Tubs, The Network. Sting was a huge one, obviously. Their vocal prowess is in part due to Sting. They give thanks to MySpace, and they've been on I Can't Have Nice Things records, but they're currently thinking about just like making their own record company. We're going to see what that goes. I'm actually going to be working closely with them on that, and we're going to see what happens. So check out Living by Words on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/livingbywords, or check out Chris Norwood on SoundCloud. Yeah, all right. You guys have a good night. That's been our Ranking the Studio Albums. Yeah!